That's nice.
It's like, if you do 75% damage to the guy and somebody else kills him, it still counts as a kill for you.
That's sweet.
Ready to
I
do
really
another?
like Battlefield way more than Call of Duty.
Ready to do another control match? Get our bounties
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
I still
Oh,
cannot
yeah,
wait
dang
for Hardline to come out. That is going to be a good game.
What game?
Hardline.
So that's Battlefield.
Hardline. Oh,
Battlefield Hardline.
I
It's
don't
not
know.
a true Battlefield game, so I'm not going to be I don't really calling that Battlefield, but I am
Really,
excited for it.
I don't know. To me, it did look like a It was to me when I saw the beta. Like I heard
They
the
changed up a
announcement.
lot.
Yeah, when I saw the beta, I was just like, this is just Battlefield in the city with cars. But I hope they change it more. Like when I heard Hardline, I was like, this is gonna be like Payday, only competitive. I went nuts for that. I was like, man, this actually gets me excited. And then when I saw the beta, it's like all my hopes were gone. 'Cause
But seeing the beta doesn't really do it justice, because it played so much differently.
I don't know. Like a lot of people said, it felt like a major variation on Battlefield. So I mean, they are using the same engine.
I mean, yeah,
Uh,
it's not
come
going to
in
look
nice.
any different from Battlefield 4 because it's using
Why did you
Frostbite
join
3.
a bit earlier,
so-
sweetie?
Like what I was expecting was like, are you familiar with Payday 2?
Kinda.
Kinda. It is an awesome game, and
Yeah,
like
co-op bank robbery.
yeah, like unlike other games where it's like, for one thing, the storyline is dictated to you in most games through cutscenes, but in this one it happens during a loading screen, sort of in the background there. So if you want to get into it, it feels like you have the option to. But really, the storyline is you, not the game, dictating you a story. When you come back, the stories are all about what happened to you, what you did, that awesome heist.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is that you do much more than just shoot stuff, because that's what a lot of games really evolve into, especially since they have team deathmatch. That's all you do. Instead, in Payday 2, you're talking about this heist that you did. You're talking about like throwing bags of gold. You're talking about cutting wires. You're talking about sneaking through stuff. You're talking about like, we made it through without killing anybody. Stuff like that. So it's more than just what most first-person shooters are, which is shoot everything in sight.
Control.
And that's what I was hoping this Battlefield game would be like. Battlefield Hardline. I was like, this is going to be
Well, it's
more
not
than
going
just
to be
shoot
like
stuff.
that. I mean, the multiplayer, no, because they do want to keep it. They're trying to make it appeal to the core Battlefield audience and to a lot of outsiders.
I think that's the problem, though. Like, I saw the game modes, and they're all just like, it's all just like window dressing on all the standard modes. Like that one where you capture the gold and move it to another area. I mean, I've already done that before.
Enemy captured zone.
That was fun, though. And honestly, it was so much fun. I mean, the playability factor
falling behind.
determines whether or not I'm going to buy the game, and that basically verified my choice.
Yeah, and see, here's the other thing. The single player, they're talking about the storyline. They're talking about the storyline, I'm thinking it's just going to be something really dumb.
Well, it's supposed to be a story of revenge, so...
Which could be really dumb. I mean, unless it's God of, like God of War. God of War was a great story about revenge because you evolve from voting for Kratos to hating Kratos, and by the time you get to the end of God of War 3... Has anybody played God of War 3? Does anybody mind if I spoil the whole God of War series?
Spoil it. I don't care.
Okay, well, essentially Kratos is a gigantic jerk. He ruins the world for everybody else, and then he kills himself by the end. And it's kind of like, yeah, he was a jerk. I don't want to see him live. And you play as that character, and I thought that was a cool way to talk about revenge. Because really, what can you get after revenge, right? You can either get more revenge, which is actually what Kratos did after God of War 1. He wins, he gets his revenge, and what's he do? He goes out to piss off more people and get more revenge. So the people that he wants to get revenge upon again are people that he angered. And of course, what's the other thing you can do when you get your revenge? You can kill yourself, because you have nothing else to live for. You already got your revenge. So... in Battlefield Hardline, I'm thinking it's just going to be like your generic 80s cop action fest, get a revenge on some guy.
Well, it's supposed to be like 9 missions. Each one is about like 40 minutes long, so it's a good chunk of campaign. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Historically, the Battlefield campaigns have been
Enemy captured.
Terrible.
you go through
Unless
the
it
four-
was Battlefield Bad Company. The first one impressed me a lot. That one was clever.
Well, yeah, those were good.
Really, I didn't like
I mean,
number
that was
two.
the first.
Zone A.
Number two, that whole super weapon thing. I was like, that's not what the first one was about.
Damn.
It's not exactly the point of it, but
Heavy ammo inbound.
yeah, I get what you're
Enemy
saying.
captured zone A.
You
Yeah,
wanted a good
I
configuration of the campaigns.
Like the first one, I mean, it was a classic story of soldiers stealing gold, but the idea of like soldiers that are the cannon fodder guys, you never play as those guys. You're always playing some badass.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, heavy ammo.
I gotta step up.
See,
my
even that though, the Battlefield core audience is like a really tricky audience because they didn't like the Bad Company series, given that it in the online aspect it wasn't not a true Battlefield game, given that it didn't have like jets on the 64-player battles.
Lost. Zone A
They
neutralized.
sold really well.
I know,
Enemy captured zone
but that was
C.
the first time it was designed for
Captured
console.
zone A.
Because you gotta remember, Battlefield up to that point was strictly PC.
Yeah. Well, they had to make the move at some point. I mean, if they're not moving over to consoles, they're losing a lot of sales.
Yeah. Which I mean, I thank God now that the fact that the next gen console can support the full 64 players,
How? Where did that guy come from?
because that really changed it up a lot. Because I played 3 on PS3 and, it was a good game. Don't get me wrong, but
I didn't like it, but I'm not really into.
it
Battlefield
involves a completely different type of play style. So that's the kind of thing that people get wrong and don't like right away. At least that's just my experience.
Lots of black.
Zone C.
Oh,
neutralized.
crap. Why did I walk in here?
I think the way you're talking about Battlefield, though, really highlights one of the problems that it has, is that
Zone A
appealing to core
lost.
fans. Because, I mean,
Enemy captured zone A.
you can't really reinvent the
thing
game or
was-
put out a new Battlefield game. It's always like, appeal to the core fans, appeal to the core fans.
I'm one of those people. I don't want like the basis of the Hardline. I'm okay with being more a casual game, but like the true Battlefield games, I want those to be more hardcore and a lot involved the different play style. I'm actually one of those people who wants that to be different and actually not always appeal to everybody.
Zone A. Zone C lost.
I understand the concept. When you
If
say
try to-
when you make a
if try to
game that
please
doesn't,
everybody, everything just gets fucked up.
yeah, but see that the last Battlefield, Electronic Arts has been pushing it as the competitor to Call of Duty. So the last one sold 10 million units, and that's not hardcore. That's not the hardcore kind of crowd. So eventually, those sales are going to get lost. 3 was the
3 sold 12 million on PS3 alone.
Yeah, so you have to appeal to the casual audience in order to do that. And the problem with doing that is that they eventually get bored with that. And I mean, what's going to happen if Electronic Arts tries to push the latest Battlefield game so hard that it doesn't, that the marketing budget, because it's the marketing budget that they put most of their money into, right? So what's going to happen if they don't make money off of a Battlefield game because it doesn't get enough sales?
Zone C captured.
And we're talking about like...
And that's one of the very interesting things that could happen with Hardline, because a lot of people are scared after everything that happened with 4. I don't know if you heard about that, but
Yeah, but you're
that
talking
was the
about
most
fans, like the
broken-ass
people,
Zone A.
the people
fucking
who are
game
into
I've watched.
marketing, like the people who are like those 12 million people in the PlayStation 3, they're not the kind of people that read that much about games. They pretty much know about Call of Duty. They might know a little bit about Mario because they've seen some commercials, and then they'll know the commercials for Battlefield, but they're not going to know about all that server stuff and the fancy stuff you are. So, I'm thinking that, you know, just like Call of Duty is having some fatigue in the sales right now, I'm thinking that the same thing is going to happen eventually to the whole Battlefield series. And everything about that series is ridiculously expensive.
Well, looking at that, Heartland's probably gonna be the last game we get in that series, maybe 2018, unless something comes out of nowhere.
Zone
Because
C lost.
right now, Dice Stockholm's working on Battlefront, and Dice LA is assisting Visceral Hardline. Like, nobody actually knows what's going on after that.
Oh, I
Kinda
know that they're
interesting.
gonna. I know Electronic Arts is gonna try and get a Battlefield game out as soon as possible. It's because of the whole
They're not
sequel.
that stupid after what happened with 4.
With 4, I can understand why, and they're not going to release 4 next year because Battlefield Hardline is coming out next year. So they can have
4 got released last fall. With everything that happened with
Oh,
that,
really?
they're not going to be releasing another one until later.
Well, I'm sure that they could just do a
Hardline's been in the
minor
works for a
update on
while.
that. Yeah, I did know about that.
But yeah, the work with Hardline started just...
Ah,
Yeah, when did it
doing
start?
so bad with this revolver here. If I was playing with a shotgun, I'd be doing better.
Next time.
I know the feeling. I've been using a sniper rifle.
Yeah, the work on Hardline started back in 2011, and that... Honestly, I think that game is probably going to succeed. It's one of those things where EA doesn't really need to, because they got Star Wars Battlefront in the pipeline.
Oh yeah, let's leave this and restart another.
I know.
Well, I can imagine it's going to do well because it's based in reality.